We live in a world that never seems to pause. From the moment we wake up to the last thoughts before sleep, our minds race with worries, expectations, and the endless comparisons that come from looking outward. Social media, workplace standards, family pressures, and the constant stream of opinions all contribute to a weight that we carry day after day. We care about what others think of us. We care about whether we're succeeding, whether we're in control, whether we're living up to the standards that have been set by society, or even the ones we've set for ourselves. In this whirlwind, caring too much can become a silent burden, a heavy cloak that we wear without noticing how much it drags us down. But what if the key to peace isn't about caring more, pushing harder, or holding tighter? What if it's about letting go? This is the profound wisdom at the heart of Buddhist philosophy. The Buddha taught that attachment is the root of suffering. We suffer not because of what happens to us, but because of how tightly we cling to our desires, our fears, and our need for control. When you stop clinging, when you let go, the flow of life becomes gentle, natural, and surprisingly effortless. Instead of fighting against the current, you begin to drift with it, discovering a peace that isn't dependent on circumstances, achievements, or approval. Today, let's explore what it truly means to let go. How can we practice non-attachment in our everyday lives? How do we find the courage to release the constant urge to control, to care, to shape everything according to our desires? And most importantly, how do we unlock the inner freedom and joy that comes when we finally allow life to flow on its own? Let's begin by understanding the burden of overcaring. Caring is a beautiful human quality. It's what allows us to connect, to love, to support one another. But when caring tips into overcaring, it becomes worry, anxiety, and a deep fear of judgment. Imagine someone who is constantly checking their phone for messages, hoping for validation from friends, or anxiously awaiting a response to something they've shared online. Or perhaps you recognize yourself in the way you replay conversations over and over, wondering if you said the right thing or made the right impression. This is not happiness, it's suffering. The attachment to approval, the desperate need for reassurance, the endless search for control, all these things bind us, making each day feel heavier than the last. Overcaring often stems from the belief that our happiness depends on external circumstances. We think, if only they liked me, or if only I succeeded at this task, then we would be happy. But chasing this kind of happiness is like trying to fill a bucket with a hole at the bottom. It's never enough. The more we care, the more anxious we become. We start to monitor our every action, doubt our decisions, and fear that we're not living up to some invisible standard. The Buddha recognized this pattern thousands of years ago. He taught that suffering arises from attachment, our tendency to grasp, to cling, and to refuse to let go. So what happens when we try to let go of control? Life is impermanent. Everything changes. The seasons shift, relationships evolve, and even the thoughts in our minds are constantly moving. Trying to control outcomes is like trying to stop a river with your hands. No matter how hard you try, the water slips through your fingers. The more you resist change, the more pain you feel. But when you release control, when you allow the river to flow as it will, you discover a remarkable freedom. You realize that you don't have to force everything to happen according to your plan. You don't have to fight against the current. Instead, you can trust in the natural unfolding of life. This doesn't mean that you stop caring altogether. There is a subtle but vital difference between detachment and indifference. Detachment is not about becoming cold, distant, or uncaring. It's about caring deeply, but without clinging. You still act with kindness. You still offer love. You still pursue your goals. But you are free from expectation. You are not attached to the outcome, and your happiness doesn't depend on things turning out a certain way. Detachment means being fully present in each moment, responding with compassion, and then letting go. It's about holding life lightly, not gripping it with fear. When you practice detachment, you find that you can care without suffering. You can love without losing yourself. Life, in its essence, is like water. Water finds its way around obstacles. It doesn't fight, it flows. The more you resist, the more pain you feel. When you hold on tightly to your plans, your expectations, your image of how things should be, you create tension and struggle. But when you allow yourself to flow with life, to accept change, to release control, to let go of attachment, you become lighter. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable begin to dissolve. You realize that you don't have to push so hard. You simply have to move with the current. This wisdom is echoed in every stream, every cloud, every breath of wind. Nature teaches us that flow is effortless. Trees bend with the wind. Rivers carve new paths when blocked. The sun rises and sets without resistance. When we align ourselves with this natural flow, we discover that peace is not something to be achieved, but something that arises when we let go. How do we begin to practice this letting go in daily life? Buddhism offers simple, powerful practices that anyone can follow. One of the most important is meditation on impermanence. Sit quietly for a few moments each day and contemplate the nature of change. Notice how your thoughts come and go, how emotions rise and fall, how even your breath is in constant motion. Remind yourself that nothing is permanent. Not your worries, not your successes, not your failures. This meditation helps loosen the grip of attachment and opens the door to acceptance. Another practice is mindful breathing. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by worry or anxiety, pause and take a few deep breaths. As you inhale, notice the sensation of air entering your body. As you exhale, imagine your worries flowing out with the breath. Observe your thoughts without judgment, letting them pass like clouds in the sky. Each breath is an opportunity to let go, to return to the present moment, to release the need for control. You might also choose a simple daily mantra. I let go, I flow. Repeat these words to yourself whenever you feel tension rising. Let them become a gentle reminder that you don't have to carry the weight of the world. You can trust in the natural rhythm of life, knowing that peace comes when you release your grip. Over time, these small practices begin to transform your inner landscape. When you stop over-caring, you discover a remarkable gift, inner peace. Relationships become lighter because you no longer depend on others for validation. Work becomes freer because you're not shackled by the need to prove yourself. The heart becomes joyful because you're no longer weighed down by expectation. True freedom is not found in external circumstances, but in the mind that has learned to let go. Imagine waking up each day with a sense of lightness. You move through your morning without rushing, without worrying about what others will think. You greet the people in your life with genuine kindness, free from the need for approval or praise. At work, you do your best, but you're not crushed by mistakes or anxious about the outcome. You recognize that everything is always changing, and you trust in your ability to adapt. This is the gift of non-attachment. It's the freedom to live fully, love deeply, and let go gracefully. As you practice letting go, you may notice subtle shifts in your relationships. Arguments lose their sting because you're no longer attached to being right. Difficult conversations become easier because you're willing to listen and release your need for control. You begin to accept people as they are, rather than trying to change them. This acceptance opens the door to real connection, a bond that is not based on need, but on genuine connection. Even in moments of loss or disappointment, the wisdom of non-attachment provides comfort. You learn to grieve without clinging, to honor your feelings without being consumed by them. You realize that pain is a natural part of life, but suffering is optional. When you let go, you allow yourself to heal. You give yourself permission to move forward, to embrace new possibilities, to flow with the river of change. Inner peace is not a distant dream. It's a reality that is available to anyone who is willing to let go. The journey begins with a single step, noticing where you are holding on and gently releasing your grip. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's not about perfection. It's about cultivating a gentle awareness, a willingness to loosen the bonds of attachment, and a commitment to flowing with life. You may encounter moments of resistance. The mind will try to convince you that you need to care more, to push harder, to control every detail. You might feel uncomfortable at first, as if you're abandoning responsibility. But remember, Detachment is not indifference. It's about caring from a place of freedom rather than fear. It's about loving without losing yourself, acting without becoming entangled in expectation. As your practice deepens, you may find that you are able to respond to life's challenges with greater ease. Stress loses its grip because you trust in your ability to adapt. Anxiety fades because you know that nothing is permanent. Relationships flourish because you are present, open, and free. You begin to appreciate the beauty of each moment without clinging to the past or worrying about the future. Ultimately, the wisdom of Buddhism teaches us that the key to peace is not in caring more, but in caring wisely. It's about finding the balance between engagement and surrender, between effort and acceptance. When you release the need to control, when you let go of attachment, you discover the joy of simply being. Life flows naturally, and you flow with it. If this message resonates with you, consider sharing it with someone you love. Let them know that peace is possible, not by holding tighter, but by letting go. And if you wish to continue exploring these timeless teachings, subscribe to Sacred Sutras. Together, let's walk the path of wisdom, compassion, and inner freedom. Remember, when you stop caring too much, life flows naturally. This is the Buddhist wisdom of non-attachment, a gentle invitation to release, to trust, and to discover the peace that has always been within you.